Some news just stops you cold. It's the kind of moment that makes the world feel like it's standing still, as if time itself is holding its breath. That's what happened this past Sunday, when we learned that Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle, were found dead in their Los Angeles home. The shockwaves rippled far beyond Hollywood, touching everyone who knew their work, their kindness, or their story. It wasn't an accident. It was a brutal, violent act. Both had been stabbed multiple times. The details were almost too horrific to believe, leaving friends, family, and fans reeling. The person arrested? Their own son, Nick Reiner, just 32, long known for his public battle with addiction. The news was devastating, a nightmare that no family should ever have to face. Rob had tried to help Nick, even co-writing the film Being Charlie about his struggles. Their relationship was complicated, but it was also filled with hope and a father's determination to save his son. This wasn't a stranger's crime, it was a family tragedy. The kind that leaves a scar on everyone it touches and raises questions that may never be answered. Reports say there was a loud argument the night before. The pain inside those walls is unimaginable. It's a reminder that even behind closed doors, families can be fighting battles no one else sees. Fame and success don't shield anyone from heartbreak. No amount of public admiration can protect a family from private pain. Rob Reiner, for all his iconic movies and activism, was a father facing a nightmare. He was a man who had given so much to the world, yet struggled with the same fears and hopes as any parent. The nation grieved for Rob, Michelle, and even Nick, now facing the consequences of this act. The loss was felt deeply, a reminder of how fragile life and family can be. People everywhere shared memories and sorrow, hoping for a moment of unity. For a brief time, grief brought people together, crossing boundaries of politics and fame. But in these divided times, even shared grief was short-lived. The world quickly returned to its old arguments, unable to hold on to that fragile sense of togetherness. That unity was shattered by a voice that chose cruelty over comfort. Online, the tragedy became fuel for anger and blame, rather than healing. Instead of compassion, the tragedy became a new battleground. The pain of one family was magnified by a nation unable to come together, even in mourning. The pain was only beginning. For those left behind, the questions, the grief, and the longing for understanding will linger long after the headlines fade. The day after the tragedy, as the nation was still reeling and families were searching for answers, President Donald Trump weighed in, not with condolences or words of comfort, but with a post on Truth Social that stunned the nation and left millions in disbelief. In a move that shocked even his critics, he blamed Rob Reiner's murder on Reiner's own political opposition to him, suggesting that Reiner's so-called obsession with Trump had somehow led to his death. The president was, in effect, blaming the victim, politicizing a family's worst moment, and turning unimaginable grief into a political weapon. The post was so callous, so lacking in basic human decency, that many thought it had to be fake. But it was real, and it spread like wildfire across the internet. Instead of healing, Trump poured salt in the wound, using a national tragedy to settle a political score and inflame divisions at a time when unity was desperately needed. It was a complete failure of leadership and empathy, a moment when the country looked to its president for guidance and found only blame and anger. Rob Reiner had every right to speak his mind in a democracy, to challenge those in power and express his beliefs without fear. To twist that right against him after his murder was chilling, sending a message that dissent could be punished even in death. The message was clear: disagree with the president, and even your tragedy can be weaponized, your pain used as a tool for political gain. It was a dark moment for the country, a reminder of how fragile our shared values can be in the face of cruelty and division. After the backlash, you'd expect a retraction or apology. But Trump doubled down. When questioned, he stood by his words, showing no regret or compassion. This wasn't a slip. It was a deliberate, calculated choice. He made clear that attacking a murder victim for political gain was, to him, justified. The refusal to apologize revealed a lack of moral compass. By doubling down, Trump turned a mistake into a statement of principle, political loyalty over human empathy. It was a chilling display of cruelty from the highest office. The moment exposed his true character for all to see. Given a chance to unite the country, he chose division. He deepened the wounds of a nation already in pain. There was no room for grace, only grievance. The presidency felt smaller, and the country more wounded. It was a sad day for America. This time, even Republicans spoke out. Representative Thomas Massie called Trump's comments disrespectful. Marjorie Taylor Greene, usually a staunch ally, called for empathy and said this wasn't about politics. Mike Lawler said the statement was just wrong. Tragedy should never be politicized. Don Bacon compared Trump's remarks to something a drunk at a bar would say. Even Ted Cruz distanced himself, offering a tribute to Rob Reiner instead. The criticism was swift and direct, a rare bipartisan rebuke. It showed that some lines still matter, even in divided times. Republicans weren't just disagreeing, they were rejecting a moral failure. For a moment, decency pushed back. Democrats and public figures responded with horror, but also with tributes to Rob and Michelle Reiner's legacy. Barack Obama praised Rob's belief in the goodness of people, contrasting the president's cruelty. Joe and Jill Biden, the Clintons, and Kamala Harris all honored the Reiner's contributions to culture and activism. LA Mayor Karen Bass and Senator Dick Durbin condemned Trump's lack of decency. The response wasn't just political, it was deeply human. People from all walks of life stood up to say no, this is not who we are. Tributes to Rob became a protest against cruelty. By celebrating his life, people rejected the president's vindictiveness. They chose to honor creativity and compassion over hate. In grief, the country found a way to push back with light. The Reiner's legacy became a rallying point for decency. Rob Reiner's legacy is far bigger than this tragedy. His story is one of creativity, courage, and compassion, a journey that touched millions of lives both on and off the screen. He was a Hollywood legend, director of When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, Stand By Me, and A Few Good Men. Each film not only entertained audiences, but also left a lasting mark on the world of cinema, influencing generations of filmmakers and movie lovers alike. His films shaped American culture and became classics. They sparked conversations, inspired laughter and tears, and brought people together in theaters and living rooms across the country. As Michael "Meathead" Stivic on All in the Family, he helped break new ground in TV, tackling tough issues with humor. The show challenged social norms and opened doors for more honest conversations about race, politics, and family in America. He won Emmys, but more importantly, he sparked conversations that mattered. His work encouraged viewers to think deeply, question assumptions, and see the world through new perspectives. The son of comedy legend Carl Reiner, Rob forged his own path as a master storyteller. He honored his father's legacy while building his own, earning respect for his vision and integrity. Off-screen, he was a passionate activist, fighting for causes from education to the environment. Rob used his platform to advocate for children, public health, and a better future for all. He was a fierce critic of Trump, never shying from a fight for what he believed was right. Whether on social media or in public forums, Rob stood up for justice, equality, and the values he held dear. Tributes poured in from across the spectrum. Jerry Seinfeld credited him with saving Seinfeld, and even political opponents like James Woods praised his friendship. Rob's influence reached far beyond Hollywood, touching the lives of colleagues, friends, and fans from all walks of life. Rob could argue with you and still be your friend. He believed in the power of dialogue, and his warmth and humor made even the toughest debates feel human. He was a man of principle and heart. His kindness, empathy, and unwavering sense of justice defined him as much as his creative achievements. That's the legacy that endures. It's not just about awards or accolades, but about the lives he touched and the change he inspired. His life was about more than movies. It was about making a difference. Rob Reiner showed us that one person's voice, when used with passion and purpose, can truly help shape a better world. In remembering Rob, we remember the power of art, activism, and decency. That's what will last. His story reminds us all to stand up, speak out, and never stop believing in the good we can do. Why would a president act so cruelly? It's not random, it's strategy. Trump thrives on outrage and division, knowing shocking statements dominate the news and energize his base. For his supporters, attacking a Hollywood critic is seen as strength, not cruelty. He creates an us versus them mentality, forcing people to take sides. This keeps his grip on his party and frames criticism as partisan attacks. It's a cynical way to govern, but it's worked for him. The cost? It coarsens public discourse, erodes norms, and inflicts real pain. The Reiner family's tragedy became political fodder. The The country endures another cycle of outrage when unity is needed most. This isn't just politics, it's real-world harm. It makes it harder for us to come together, even to grieve. The strategy may help one man, but it damages the nation's soul. We all pay the price. This didn't happen in a vacuum. The country is already on edge. Economic pain, high prices, and political turmoil. Trump's approval ratings are down, and he faces revolt within his own party. In moments of national tragedy, people look to the president for comfort. Instead, they got more division and anger. The nation is also reeling from other tragedies: shootings, hate crimes, and unrest. This was a moment for leadership, for unity. Instead, the president chose spectacle and grievance. The result? A country feeling more anxious, fractured, and alone. It was a profound failure to meet the moment. We've seen before how a president's words can heal or harm. Great leaders have used their words to unite us in crisis. But words can also divide, incite, and leave lasting scars. Trump's reaction to the Reiner tragedy is a reminder of the power and danger of presidential rhetoric. The bipartisan condemnation shows Americans still expect decency from their leaders. Some things should be sacred: a family's grief, a national tragedy. The shock and outrage are, in a way, hopeful. They show we haven't lost our sense of right and wrong. This is a painful lesson in the importance of character in leadership. A president sets the tone for the nation. When they choose cruelty, they diminish the office and the country. The murder of Rob and Michelle Reiner was a tragedy. The president's response was a national disgrace and a reminder that we must demand better.